Welcome to One Girl at a Time, a podcast for girls, by girls, with girls. I'm Hajid.
And I'm Laeba, and we are here to spotlight on the power that girls have in this world.
For this episode's World at a Glance, we wanted to talk about Asian American hate crimes.
I know all of you more than likely saw what was happening on social media, and we wanted to talk about it here on our podcast to spread more awareness.
The reason why Asian Americans are being hate crimed is due to the news about coronavirus originating in Wuhan, China. People saw this as an excuse to be hateful towards all Asians here in America.
Keyword excuse. Asian Americans aren't the only ones being targeted. Pacific Islanders have also been affected by this. Hate and discriminations towards minorities is nothing new, but the reason why this has been given the coverage that it has is because of how much it has increased in the past year.
Crime against Asians in the year 2020 alone has increased 150%, according to the Center for the Study of Hate and Extremism at California State University, San Bernardino. The two cities in which Asians have been targeted majorly are New York and California.
A California-based reporting center for Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders, Stop AAPI has received over 3,800 reports of anti-Asian attacks since March of last year,
most of which were reported by women.
Please spread more awareness to your friends and your family, or even on your social media about the topic, and help those who need it.
And with that, we conclude our World at a Glance segment. In today's episode, we will be talking with Laeba Mujeeb, the passionate 13-year-old author of the Gemini Reign.
Thank you so much for being on here. Welcome to our podcast.
We're so happy to have you on our show today, Laeba.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
So for those who don't know about you, could you please kind of tell us about who you are and kind of what you do?
Well, I'm 14 years old. I'm an 8th grader at Uplift North Hills Preparatory. I love to write. Obviously, I'm an author. I love to read. I'm a big reader. It's a key essential to being an author. I love to paint and sketch for fun, and I love to help others.
That's so amazing. Thank you, Laeba. So about your book, The Gemini Reign, how did you come up with the title?
Well, the title went through lots of stages. It went through a lot because it took me a while to figure out what I wanted the readers to see first when they opened my book, or what I wanted them to think when they saw the cover. And basically, it's Gemini. Gemini means twins. The meaning is a big part of it because the book is surrounded by a pair of twins who are fighting over their reign.
That's so cool. And you can tell just from the title that a lot of thought went into it. So that's amazing.
So I wanted to ask, what initially led you to writing it? Like, why did you decide for this to be your first book, and why did you decide to write it all together?
Well, the book idea came to me after rereading one of my favorite series, The Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. I really didn't have an idea when I was reading, but one night I had a dream about a group of kids surrounding a scroll or a book that led them to their mission in life. And that next morning, I wrote down the idea, and the idea obviously went through lots of changes, but that's what initially helped me start the idea for the Gemini Reign.
That's so cool. So, as being an author, and you're extremely young and extremely mature, might I add. So when did you realize that, writing this book was something that you definitely wanted to do?
When I first was I was really little. In first grade, I had an assignment to write my own version of the classic story Chicken Little, and the assignment was to write one page. But I didn't know this before, but I really love writing, and I wrote 6 pages of this story with more than 3 characters, with lots of dialogue. And my teacher was super surprised, and she was like, "You could have a career in writing. Like, you're only first in first grade and you're already writing so much." And I think that's what really gave me the idea. Like, it was just at the back of my mind.
You said that writing that Chicken Little writing prompt was what you didn't realize at the time, but it was something that like you wrote a lot. So, but where do you think your love for writing comes from? Like, is there any like specific inspiration, any specific person in your life?
I think my love of writing is just contributed to how much I love reading and how much I love to write or like story tell. I know I've always loved reading books and fairy tales, and it was just always super cool to me that someone wrote this story and now millions of people are reading it. And so I think my love of writing stemmed from storytelling and the idea that so many people can hear a story and spread it throughout the world.
That's so cool. Excuse me. So, back to your book, The Gemini Reign. How long did it take you to write it?
I started it 2 years ago, but I wasn't actively writing or frequently writing every week. But once quarantine started, or like towards the end of quarantine, I started writing, and it took me about 3 months to finish the um, writing of the book, and then the editing and publishing took about 2 months, so 5 months in total.
5, yeah.
Well, that's really amazing. And you know, like 5 months of work into it. What were your feelings when you finally published it? Like I'm sure that was like
An amazing feat for you, right? You have, you published it and you have the physical copy in your hand. So, like, what were some of the feelings that you felt in that moment?
For me, it was really nerve-wracking. I didn't know how to feel. I was shocked. But once the initial shock went over, I was super excited. I couldn't wait for people to read it. And I was very ecstatic. I don't know how to explain it, but it was just like, it was kind of like I didn't know if it was real or not. Like, it felt like a dream.
it's kind of like similar to how we felt when we finally published our podcast. Like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, we did that. Like, you did that. And you need to give yourself a lot of credit because writing a book is so, like, something that is so amazing.
And when you're only like 14 and you said that you brought your passion kind of into life. So that's so amazing. And we're so glad to have you like talking here with us about what you like to do. And I've ordered the book already and I can't wait to actually finally read it. And I was so ecstatic, like you said, when I heard about you. So it was, yeah.
So I wanted to ask, what was something you wish someone told you before writing and publishing your book?
First, I'd like to say thank you for ordering the book. That's amazing. I can't wait till you read it, and I hope to know what you think about it. For me, what I would have liked to know was the difference between publishing traditionally and publishing self-publishing. That was a really big thing. I think it's a big thing for all authors, and I know traditionally publishing is much more like you have more people helping you through it, and self-publishing is kind of you're doing it on your own. You don't know what you're doing. Like for me, I didn't know what I was doing, and it took a lot of time for me to research, and there wasn't really a good place to find out that information. But now that I know more about it, I think that it's amazing that there are people out there who are helping and giving out information about that, even though I didn't know where to find it. I also think I would have liked to know how stressful it can be, the writing process, and how hard it is to go through that by yourself at a young age. And I think that it would have been really helpful if I knew a little bit more about the writing process and the publishing process before.
Most definitely. Now that we've talked about, the writing process and the publishing process, self-publishing actually, we actually want to talk a little bit about the book. Like, did you incorporate your personality, or like if you did, how did you do that?
Yeah, my personality is definitely incorporated in my characters, my main characters especially. Avery is one of my main characters, and I think I gave her more of my quick wit and like sass a little bit because I do have a little bit of sass. I think I gave her a lot of my um, anxiety and worry too. I think I incorporated a lot of my personality into her, but I also incorporated a lot of my personality into another main character. His name is Justin. He is really responsible and he's really careful about what he does, and he's always friendly towards people and tries to hide his own emotions sometimes in order to help others find out their emotions or bring awareness to their emotions.
I bet a lot of people can relate to those feelings and kind of situations. So it's great that you put it into a physical, thing and into the story. So when people read about it, they can kind of like relate to both Avery and Justin. So that's really cool.
I think we want to know, you mentioned Avery and Justin. As Laeba said, who is your favorite character in the Gemini's Reign?
I don't think anyone could have a favorite character, but I think there's another character. His name is Aiden. I think he's my favorite character just because he's really emotional and I can relate a lot to him because he doesn't know how to express his feelings in a way that helps him feel better. I think he's just really quiet and but really angry, and I think writing about him just is really fun. So I think he's one of my favorite characters.
Ooh, okay. So I know that you kind of talked about like 3 characters so far. So for those who are, for our readers, not readers, but our
Listeners.
our listeners, our viewers, could you give us like a short summary about Gemini Reign?
Yeah, of course. Basically, of course, it's about a young girl, Avery, 16 years old. She's really going through a lot of trauma and PTSD because of her mother's death, and she's trying to unmask the secrets her parents left behind when they left her. And Justin, he's trying to raise Avery. He's Avery's older brother. He's trying to raise Avery by his parents' wishes, but it conflicts his way of thinking and his way of believing how to raise her. And he's only 19 himself and he's barely gone through his life, and he's has a lot of conflicted feelings about how to raise her and if he should follow the path of his parents. And the overall story is about a family who's struggling to keep their family together and trying to unmask the secrets and lies their parents have left behind and trying to forgive each other for the mistakes they made.
I'm really excited to read it because Mami's gonna let me borrow her book
Okay.
after she gets it. And we wanted to end this interview off by asking you, what would you like to say to all the young authors out there?
I would like to say they're amazing. Congratulations to you for accomplishing such a thing that's so hard to achieve, even at a supposed or designated age for writing a book. And I think that you should just keep on doing what you love and never think about what other people think about you, and always just power on through everything you want to do.
That's so sweet, Laeba. We were so happy to have you on our podcast. And you're so well spoken and mature for your age. And like I said before, we were really excited to have you on our podcast. And thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
So once again, it's me, Umaima.
And Hajir, reminding you that you can change the world.
And it starts with you. So connect and chat with us on our social media links below, and be sure not to miss any of our next episodes.
If you or someone you know would like to be featured in our next episode,
or if you have any questions for us,
contact us at ogatpodcast@mudeltaalpha.org. We would love to hear from you.
Keep being amazing. See y'all next time.
Bye.